Welcome to Bush League Gaming. I'm Mike, and I'm here to talk about Overwatch 2 because the director and some of the devs on Overwatch 2 just pulled an absolutely Bush League level move on the fans. So if there is anything that you learn from this, learn full and well. If you own or are a part of a franchise that is beloved by the fans and you have a handful of individuals, by a handful, I mean, in this case with Overwatch and Overwatch 2, millions of people that really want to see this franchise go back to prominence. If you have something that's beloved and you want to drive it into the dirt and disaffect all of the fans, do exactly what Overwatch and Overwatch 2 has done. So when Overwatch came out, it came out with some of the most thunderous applause and greatest reception from a lot of the gamers that are out there. And over the course of the last 5, 6, 7 years since it's been out, they have consistently made changes to run Overwatch and now Overwatch 2 into the ground. So they came out this last week, and the director of Overwatch 2, his name is Aaron Keller. And this dude is a total bozo, a complete knucklehead, because he came out and they said that they're canceling the hero single player portion of Overwatch 2 that was announced to the public when Overwatch 2 was kind of brought to light. So in Overwatch 2, they had their big announcement. They did a couple things, and most of them were really small. So they said hey, we're going to create some new skins. Okay, cool. You're updating Reinhardt's skin to give him new shoes, whatever. Hey, we're going to spend some time and we're going to adjust the different sound effects. Okay, cool. It sounds better when you're Soldier 76 and you're shooting your gun, whatever. But the coolest part of the announcement of Overwatch 2 was the fact that they were going to give us a hero mode. So that way I could play my favorite hero in this single player campaign. And what I could do is spec the hero out. So if I wanted to play my favorite character, Reinhardt, and I didn't want to just be a tank, I could sit there and I could actually spec him out and put talent points accordingly to maybe make him more like a DPS character or give him more mobility, what have you, instead of just the fact that he has a shield and he has a hammer and he can shoot some fire at the end of his big hammer, right? So they were planning on doing all of this. And because of that, they were diverting resources away from the live multiplayer game for the last, what seems like eternity, but realistically is probably the past 2 years of Overwatch. And then they released Overwatch 2. So everybody who's been a fan of Overwatch, who's stuck through them, even though the last 5 years has been Overwatch 2 is dying. Oh, the game is dying. Oh, Overwatch is a dead game. It's a dead game. Look, we know that, but for those of us who consistently played Overwatch here and there and kept it on our actual hard drives and continued to play, we are the ones to actually get the total hose on this one, because we had a game that wasn't getting any updates because they were diverting all of those resources and they were putting it into the PvE. They were putting it into hero mode. And now they're scrapping the hero mode, because they're saying, well, as we went down the rabbit hole of development, what we realized is we're never going to come out the other side. And it's yeah, well, you're sitting there, and how long is it going to take you to actually realize that? Do we, as fans of this franchise and people who really loved Overwatch when it came out, have to sit there and give you the benefit of the doubt time and time again? The answer is no. And what they had done is they released the Overwatch 2 roadmap for seasons 5, 6, and 7. And one portion of season 6, it says story, missions, and a new support hero. And it's all right, cool, great. You're going to give me a support hero, whatever. That is something that should be expected at this point, as we get heroes with almost every season, or, maybe every single quarter, every 3 months, release a new hero. Do that. But where it says story missions, they still included that. They had the balls to still include story missions, even though they're going to be scrapping the hero single player PvE that everybody was looking forward to. So this guy, Aaron Keller, who's the director of Overwatch, one of the things that he said is that Overwatch, which, if you don't know, Overwatch came because Blizzard was working on a project called Project Titan. And there was so much mystery and intrigue around this Project Titan, only for it to ultimately be scrapped, and all of the little bits and pieces of Project Titan that could be salvaged turned into Overwatch. And that's where they got the characters like Winston, like Tracer, like Reinhardt. Those are all coming from Project Titan, where it was supposed to be a first-person shooter MMO. Because of the massive success of World of Warcraft, Blizzard wanted another MMO franchise, and they were going to be doing a first-person shooter. I know initially it was rumored that it was going to be StarCraft Ghost, I think is what people were calling it, and it was going to be a StarCraft first-person shooter MMO, but it actually turned out to be Overwatch is the game that we got. So we had a game that was created and incepted and then canceled, and then Overwatch was released. And then we have an inception and a vision of Overwatch and Overwatch 2, and then it's canceled. So it's like every single time this project starts to get some legs, it gets canceled because the devs in Overwatch tend to do a very, very poor job of actually building a solid vision for what they want and executing upon it. So they had announced that it was going to be a crawl, walk, run type of model for what the future of Overwatch would be. So it started as, Project Titan gets canceled. And then they have Overwatch, which is kind of like the crawl portion. And then they have the PvE hero mode where you can spec out your character. That is the walk. And then they were planning on still doing an Overwatch world-based MMO, which should have been so cool. But turns out they didn't do it because they can't get their shit together, and they canceled it. I uninstalled the game. I re-downloaded Overwatch 2 just so I could get some footage for this video, but as soon as this is all said and done, it's on the outs for me. So I'm frustrated. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about Overwatch 2 and the fact that they're kind of just pulling it apart limb from limb right now. All right, it's Bush League Gaming, and Overwatch 2, it's absolute Bush League what you're doing. I'll catch you later. Peace.